Alright guys, so if you haven't seen my first video on this build, then I'm just going to give a quick build recap, what the synergies are in this build and just how it works before I go over what some of the changes are I've made to it. So I made this, well, it's a strong word. I used Claude to help me make this build synergies overview page. Basically, these is a breakdown of the passives, the items, what makes our damage, what makes our sustain. I'll just read through it. So mind over matter, we're using this passive node to take damage from mana before life. Eldritch Battery is converting our energy shield to mana. Undying Hate is a jewel, and we're using the Kurgle variant of it. This gives us access to Sacrifice of Mind, which gives us mana overflow. So in the passive skill tree here, coming up, and here where you usually have Zealot's Oath, has been turned into Sacrifice of Mind because of this socketed jewel, Undying Hate, Timeless Jewel. And this will give us mana recovery from regeneration overflows maximum mana. However, it has a downside, a hefty downside of having 50% less mana regeneration rate. So we kind of counter that in our build by stacking as much regeneration as we can. Quivalotul's Thesis, this is a rune, and we're putting it in Darkness Enthroned, the gloves version, for massive mana regen from curses. So this is Darkness Enthroned, and this gives us, well, up to 100% increased effect of socketed items. This is the gloves variant. You can have it corrupted over 100%. They're just really expensive, or you have to be really lucky. And then in this belt, we're socketing each runic inscription from your curse skills causes you to regenerate mana per second equal to 19% of that skill's mana cost. That would be 20% if I had a maxed roll here. Just super quickly, what that means is the more mana cost our curse skill has here, the more mana we will regenerate per circle on the ground per second while the curse is active. So yeah, see how they just popped and went away? We won't have regen anymore, but while they are there, we'll be regenerating. We can stack these on top of each other. We can get massive amounts of mana regeneration. There's a few supports in here like Arcane Surge. There's Ritualistic Curse so that they have more delay before the curse erupts, so we're regenerating mana for longer. There's Heightened Curse, which is just to increase the cost of the skill so we regenerate more mana. Only put this in if you have a big enough mana pool to sustain it. And then Rapid Casting to put more of them down faster. I've combined this with a spellslinger, which I'll go over in more detail later. But basically, spellslinger, we have socketed a curse in spellslinger as well, plus pretty much all the same supports. I think I missed showing spell cascade here, but this one is what makes three circles. So it's a must, that one. And the reason why I'm doing spellslinger is because we can stack them on top of each other. I can double cast curse, put more on the ground faster, get more regen faster. Yeah, do more of a demonstration of that soon. And we're running Chaos Inoculation on this build, so we have one health, and we're immune to chaos damage and bleeding. There's a really good reason for this. I think it's worth the loss of max life, to be honest. If you're mana snacking and you lose all your mana, you're probably dead anyway, so I think it's fine. And there's a massive synergy we get out of this, which I'll talk about shortly. Dream Fragments is a unique ring. It makes us immune to freeze and chill. Since it's so hard to get stun threshold or ailment threshold on Chaos Inoculation builds, this ring helps out a ton. Cast on Critical is also proccing curses everywhere, which loops back into mana regeneration tech that I just showed you then. And then Arcane Surge, we're getting that all the time from expending our mana and from getting critical hits. Alright, so onto the cooler tech. So Passive Rage. Usually builds will use Eternal Rage, which is a spirit gem that costs 100 spirit. I'm not using that. We're using a pair of unique gloves called Death Articulated Ornate Gauntlets. These give us 5 rage per second at the cost of 5% of our max life per second. Alright, I think you can kind of see where this is going, but since we only have 1 max life, this isn't much of a cost. We do have to pair it with a Crimson Amulet, so whatever rare amulet you get, make sure it's a Crimson one, because that gives us a tiny amount of life regen as an implicit, and that completely counters the Death Articulated Gauntlets, and it also counters the Berserk Spirit Gem, which if I come down here, in our damage section, Berserk, that gives us, or since we're at max rage all the time, Berserk is giving us about a plus 50% damage multiplier. So Berserk gives us lose 0.1% of max life per rage per second while not losing rage. Grants 67% increased rage effect. If I show you my damage while I'm shapeshifted, while we're at max rage, it's about 146. If we turn off Berserk, it's like 100, so it's like flat 50% straight up added on. It's pretty much just delete everything with that. Nothing stands a chance for a single target, that's for sure. And then Crown of Ice is a unique helmet. This ensures that all spell damage modifiers, like all spell damage increases and reductions and whatnot, also applies to our attack damage. So when we're going through our passive tree, here's the helmet. When we're going through our passive tree, all of these nodes we get access to through our entwined realities, or just anywhere on the tree, but especially around the keystones. We get free passives around keystones without connecting them. We can pick up attack damage nodes, we can pick up spell damage nodes, and we're double dipping in the sense that we get to benefit from both. So we mainly get to benefit from it here. Every rage also grants 2% increased spell damage, and you know we have all these attack damage nodes here too, like physical damage and extra physical damage, and yeah, extra physical damage here, but we also get to benefit from this 3% increased spell damage per 100 maximum mana. We're mana stacking, we have a lot of maximum mana, so we're getting a ton of increased spell damage here. Just to show you how much work the helmet is doing exactly, let's just take it off for a second. Yeah, it's pretty huge. I don't know if you've played any other wolf builds, but I have, and kind of struggled to get the DPS above like 90k and also have heaps of armor and energy shield. It was kind of a one or the other. Okay, other than that, we also use Feral Invocation, where we have socketed cross slash. So Feral Invocation is this skill here. Basically, we gain energy in this skill by casting abilities. And as we cast abilities, they're going to generate energy, we can spend it, and we can cast the socketed skill, which is cross slash in this case. With Rage 3, literally the only reason for that is after we cast Lunar Blessing, it consumes all of our rage, and I just did that to get it back up to full quicker, so we can do max damage again quicker. And then some other supports for doing extra physical damage, having a chance to refund half of the energy cost when we do trigger cross slash, boundless energy, so we gain 45% increased energy for this skill just from running around and attacking and such. This skill also generates energy from the curses that are cast on critical. So when we're attacking, we do crit and we max out our cast on critical buff. It casts a curse which uses mana. Typically when you use I think when you use a spell, well actually I'm not sure if you use a spell whether it adds energy to this or not, but I do know that cast on critical, when you spend the mana to use the curse from cast on critical, it will add energy to this, a ton of energy, and you'll just put cross slashes everywhere. Herald of Ice, just a typical Herald of Ice setup where you blow up the whole screen using the armor break supports. Armor Explosion, Armor Break 3, and Uruk Smelting. And for quality of life, we're running a Flesh Crucible with Unwavering Stance. Again, I talked about how CI struggles to scale stun threshold. If you do not have this, which I usually have in here, right? If you don't have this, you will literally get stun locked till you die, and you can't even move. You can't do anything. It sucks. So then two really options here is either a Megalomaniac Diamond, which allocates Ignore Pain, and then you get every rage also grants 2% increased stun threshold. That helps significantly. Or a Flesh Crucible Diamond with less life as the con. We don't have much life, so we don't care. It doesn't affect us. And then Unwavering Stance. And Unwavering Stance will give us, cannot be light stunned, but you cannot dodge, roll, or sprint. I think it's highly worth it, to be honest, because we're basically pouncing around the map anyways, and we have a really low cooldown on this. So I got used to it pretty fast, and not getting light stunned is great. I can't really go back now. And then the Ring Dream Fragments makes us immune to chill and freeze. Plus we get some more % maximum mana. So we're immune to light stun, we're immune to chill, we're immune to freeze. It's great. It's almost like we're a Pathfinder, except we run slower. And you can still be affected by temporal chains. But temporal chains isn't so bad this patch because you can just kind of walk around the curse if you can see it. Overall, the pros for the build: CI, Chaos Immune, it's easier to stack elemental reses. We get passive rage without having it to spec 100 spirit into eternal rage. We get immunity to chill and freeze. We get immunity to light stuns, massive damage and massive clear. It's fun. You can run any map modifiers you want. The only one that's slightly annoying is the one that's % reduced cooldown recovery rate, because then you can't pounce around as often, which makes it slower. But yeah, it's not really a deal breaker. And as for cons go, it is like a ramping type build. You do have to use your curses before you go in. Otherwise, you're going to probably get caught off guard and get one shot. If you don't go in with any regen, then yeah, you're just going to die. And then once you start attacking enemies and getting criticals, it'll sustain itself. If you spend too long between finding mobs, you need to use your curses again. There's a lot of visual clutter on the screen. As you saw in the showcases, there's like, or right now even, there's just curses everywhere. I don't know. I don't really mind it. Everything dies. You have auto bombing from Lunar Blessing. This has got a massive AoE, so is your cross slash, so things just die in it. And then cannot dodge, roll, or sprint. As I said, just use pounce. Cool. Thank you. Hey guys, already made a video build guide on this character, but made just a few small changes to it. Also made a mobalytics now as well, and just wanted to go over some of the changes plus address some of the questions in the comments too. So one change has been getting a new helmet with a implicit 29 to spirit. The reason for that is to fit in Clarity 2 and Berserk. It doesn't really matter which support gem it goes into, but Clarity 2 gives us 50% increased mana regeneration, and running that in addition to Clarity 1, which gives us 30% increased mana regeneration. You can run it without Clarity 2 and therefore not worry about the helmet, but I think it's the more mana regen we get, the more recovery we have during maps and in boss fights and such, so it's just less of a problem dying. But it can be a little expensive getting this. I didn't pay too much for it. I think it was, well, it was a lot less than that. Hold on. Yeah, I think I paid a bit less than 30 divines for it. So certainly be like more of a super late upgrade if you just if you don't have that many divines. The other thing I did is swapped over to a Dream Fragments Sapphire Ring. So this is going to give us percent maximum mana, which is good for our build, mana regeneration, which is good for our build, and prevent us from being chilled or frozen. Since we're running Chaos Inoculation, and we're also converting our energy shield to mana, we don't have anything to scale our ailment threshold or our stun threshold off. If you look in the passive skill tree, every single stun threshold node scales off of energy shield or max life, and there's like nothing else in here at all, so you can't scale stun threshold or ailment threshold off of mana, for example. So you kind of need to run this ring, otherwise you're relying on a charm, which is okay as well, but these aren't too expensive. Just take off the corruption. It's like you want to get as high amount as max mana as you can. Yeah, they went up in price a little bit, but it's not too much. We've also that's it for the items as far as changes to the items goes. Actually, I did upgrade the Moria Invictus. I found one with all elemental resistances, which meant that I could socket more greater iron runes in to get more energy shield on the chest, because energy shield means more max mana. 322 without it, 2705 with it. Sorry, other way around. 322 with it, 2705 without it. And for support skills, I have gone across to, let me just put this back in, picked up a tools stillness, already had the Rakiatis flow. I just had some cheaper gems in there for budget build, which is in Mobalytics. And then, yeah, so I picked up tools stillness and I put it in Lunar Assault, because we get extra 40% of cold damage as extra chaos damage. This skill is like entirely cold damage. There's a lot of cold damage, so just get a good damage chunk there. And then, but I wouldn't say it's like humongous. It's not worth selling your kidneys for or anything like that. I would probably do that last. And then I've put in a Xeri's Impatience into Pounce, actually, instead of cooldown recovery 2. At Xeri's Impatience, 100% extra cooldown recovery rate. We lose like a little bit of mana when we cast it. But the thing is, we lose 25% of maximum life, mana, and energy shield. We don't have life, we don't have energy shield, and max mana is 3,222, not 4,833. So we're not, so we're only losing 25% of 3,222. So we don't even kind of go under our maximum when we cast it, and we regenerate it instantly, and we get Pounce way faster. Since it's not a very fast build, it's a lot quicker to move around the map like this. So that's it on the kind of swapping the support gems around. Now I want to talk about some tech I've been using for curses and how I manage the Feral Invocation. So Feral Invocation is up here. It just gains energy when you use attacks, and then you can release it with a button click. So I have it bound to middle mouse button, and it'll spend the energy. Or if you have a keyboard that has num keys on it, then you can bind it to, I'm holding down Control, my second set of skills, numlock 5. I've set that up as the last skill slot, numlock 5, and basically I press numlock 5 and numlock at the same time. And depending on whether numlock is on or off, I might have to do it twice. So I'll click it now. Numlock was on, I guess, and now numlock's off. So I'll click 5, num key 5 and num lock again. Now it's automatic. Now I can just play the game as normal and it'll automatically use Feral Invocation, which is nice because using that skill manually is kind of a pain, to be honest. So that's that one automated. Now as for the curses, we still cast those manually, but what I've done, and just to recap some of the build mechanics, like how this build actually works in case someone's watching this for the first time, is we are using a curse, any curse. I'm just using Enfeeble because it makes them do 29% less damage. And this is the first thing I do when I go in. So the quicker these are on the ground, the better. Alright, so what I've done with this is basically put it on my mouse button 4 and mouse button 5. This is something you can do. There's another thing you can do as well, but I don't know if it's technically allowed or not. So I'll just show you this way, and I'll explain the other way after. But yeah, I can just kind of click both these buttons at the same time. In fact, I can hold down my normal curse and then click spellslinger, you know, every now and again. See how this charges and I'm using them. The thing is with spellslinger, it doesn't actually have a cast time, so we're just getting free extra curses on the ground when we use it. So if I just use it by itself, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different inscriptions on the ground. If we watch the mana regeneration without using that, yeah, cool, we go up. To 6,000, 10,000 kind of thing. If I am using it as well, see how much faster we're going up in our mana regen. So yeah, the reason I did that is so that I can spend less time running around spamming curse, and I can just click it like once or twice and then carry on fighting. If you just look at the mana regen, right? Cast another couple, keep fighting. If I don't use spellslinger and I try to do that, look how much longer I have to sit there and cast curses for. Yeah, do it again now with spellslinger. And we're back to fighting already, so it's a lot smoother. I think it's a pretty free way to get twice as much regen. I can't remember if I've already said it or not, but there's literally no cast speed on. There's no cast for this. There's no animation with spellslinger. You just use it. Okay, so that's how I manage the mana regeneration. If I'm not getting critical hits, which is triggering curses, because if I'm in there, I'm fighting, I'm getting tons of crits, and I'm casting curse automatically, then my mana regen it's sorted. But anytime there's even a little bit of downtime, honestly, I just do it automatically now. I just cast a couple of these, keep fighting, and then I just never have to worry about it. And I haven't died in ages now. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks guys.